Yeah, probably. Don't have this set in there as it's supposed to be, so hold on. Let's just run with it, shall we? This is a new setup, or at least what it's going to look like. What do you guys think? Yeah, probably. Backdrop would help. The question is, can I get in here and not knock everything over? That's the important part. So, guys got detail on that? Does it look good? Should be like super crisp. That's not my splash pick. That's chat. Or it's supposed to be chat. I'm adjusting things a little bit. We're testing something out. Oh, it's not on autofocus. I turned the focus off. So it's only going to really be in focus. If I get it too close to the camera, it's blurry. Right around here should be just about perfect. Yeah. Got some new stuff. I switched over. I'm trying to use OBS Streamlabs. See if that works out. All right. So, just going to do a base coat on him. Actually, before I even start that, let's take a quick check and see how he looks as far as flashing goes. If I can avoid bumping into what happened last time, it should be pretty good. I'm going to adjust the light level a little bit. See, there's a little bit of a line. I don't know if you guys can see it. I mean, the detail's better, so you might be able to start seeing stuff like that. But it shouldn't be too big of a deal. He's got a little one on the top of his head. So we're going to get rid of that. He's definitely got some tattoos up there. And the interesting thing about this model is that it's got tattoo lines on it. So like, there's actually little grooves in the figure to pick up tattoo lines with. Which I guess could be okay. if you wanted to be able to trace it. Mold line goes all the way down to here. A little bit of a trim. But yeah, this is what we're working on tonight. Grog got the votes. Big old Grog. I think the plastic that these guys are cast in is a little softer than some of the other stuff I use. I mean, his axe is very bendy. There's some serious bendy going on. You get some flexy flex, which may be a bit of a contributor to flashing. What I'm doing is I'm actually dragging the blade, so sharp edge down here. I'm pulling it like this. So this is the flat edge, and the sharp edge is that way, and I'm angling the blade away from me so that it wouldn't cut anything if you pull it this way. But what it will do across plastic, if you get the edge down there, is it almost shaves it a little bit, and I'm just looking to kind of almost whittle that away. There's a little bit of a line, and I'm just trying to like neaten it up. Because if you drag it sideways and you bump into a spot that turns pretty white, it means that there's usually a bit of a flashing mold line there. So just trim it down just a little bit. That way it'll not give you the same problem as I was having on the Vax model. Okay. All right, gonna grab some of this old Adeptus Battle Gray that I've got, and I'm gonna use that. Still a little bit left in the bottom. I'm gonna use an old brush. Just gonna hit him with a base coat real quick. Not looking to get too fancy, because a lot of this paint is very dried out. Microphone cable. Actually, those are my headphones. My big headphones. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it because, like I said, it's pretty old. But as far as I can tell, there's no base coating on this model. There's no primer coat, and the Citadel foundation paints or foundation layer works really well if you don't want to spray on primer or paint on other primer. I kind of like this because if you get a good gray on it, depending on, because you can do it all sorts of colors, like yellows, pinks, oranges, things like that, and they coat very, very evenly and very well, super smoothly. And it's almost the color of his skin anyway, but it will make a nice undercoat for it. I'm basically just going to cover the model with it real quick. Hopefully everybody's got something to drink and is having a chill week. If not, relax, hang back, don't get crazy. We'll just de-stress this evening. Yeah, like I said, Streamlabs is kind of cool. Excuse me. The interface that gotta get used to where the camera is. The interface is very similar to OBS, except it's got a bunch of weird little things you can put in there. Hey, somebody do me a favor. Unfollow and then refollow. I want to see if the notification pops up. I got little live stream effects. I mean, if my dad was around, he unfollows and refollows every week anyway. But this also does a cool thing. When I go to start it, it has an option where it pops up a window, and it asks me if I want to change the title of the stream or not, which is really cool. And it also includes a box that I link to Twitter so that it actually it tweets out that I'm going live and this is what I'm doing. Hey, it worked! Yeah! I found a little angry Mordekaiser or a rock and roll Mordekaiser icon. I thought it was adorable, so I figured I'd use that for the time being. Let me know if the volume was too loud on that, because I turned it down quite a bit for my end. I don't know how loud it comes through, but it's a nice sort of chill sound as opposed to super, super loud and crazy. I was thinking about having the same kind of border around the camera, like the main screen camera, but I didn't know what I wanted to have on the edges, and I didn't want it to get too busy. So we'll see if it sticks and if I add more to it. Essentially, I'm trying to spring back from the horrible Tuesday with all the technical difficulties and OBS crashing and all sorts of stuff. So I switched over to Streamlabs, which is another OBS product, but whatever. Did you guys see the pop-up that Joe Bob is following? The little animated Mordekaiser? Or did I screw up and set that just for my end? I'm trying to be more legit. I'm trying to make it look more like an actual streamer, like someone who's looking to do this as a potential source of income. It's got to grow a little bit, right? I can't just have the same basement stream every time anybody shows up. Not gonna have people stick around that way. That ain't gonna work. I probably turned the volume down so low that you guys don't hear it. So how is everybody doing this week? Everybody all right? Getting close to Friday. We're almost out of the week. Weekend goes too fast though. It's a little icon that pops up. He's pretty cute. It's this little animated icon and a message that pops up on screen that says, "Whoever username is now following." It's like a little audio cue. So if I'm down here and I'm like not paying attention because I'm focused down here, yeah, I'll saw it. That's good. There you go. See him? Lower left. He's just rocking out. with his guitar. Happy little Mordekaiser. Gonna need a tiny bit more of that gray. That makes this little tone. Someday. Oh, Al, if you raid my stream, there's another notification, and it says you've rated the stream with X amount of viewers. So I don't miss it, so I can thank people in the event that happens. I wonder, you know what I didn't try? I did not try streaming music. It's dangerous. Okay, cool. All right, so out of camera. Oh, forgot the shoulder. Let me get the shoulder real quick. Make sure the face is completely covered in. He should not be too big of a deal to finish up. He's mostly skin. It's like skin, pants, and then some fancy detail bits, but it's just like, you know, a belt and crazy shoulders and stuff like that. But he's bigger. He's bigger than the other guys, so he's going to be pretty easy. And he doesn't seem to be as ridiculously flash-ridden as the last one. I'm probably not going to ever let that go. Nah, I will, eventually. La la la. La 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 la. Okay. Just turn him over, put him down for a second. Rinse off my brush. Splashy, splashy, splash. Okay, there we go. Cool. Now let's see. I wonder. My little snaz borders. I wonder. Oh. You guys mind a little bit of Mastodon? Let me know if you can actually hear that music or not, because I'd be interested to find out if I can. I also have my cool. Is it too loud? Let me know what the volume sounds like. Excellent. That sounds like progress. Sort of. The only problem is I might not be able to post the video. Yeah. Let's do this until I figure that out. I'll cut it down. That way, until I actually get it figured out, I won't have to worry about it too much, and I can actually put the audio up. All right. So, Groggy Poo, what should we do with you? I'm going to start with the skin, absolutely. So Grog's got a black beard, right? Hey, Port. This is actually an old Adeptus Battlegrave Foundation from Citadel. This particular one is from 2006. So it's kind of ancient, but they are still good, some of them at least, that didn't dry out. I am going to have to start picking up some new ones soon. So we're going to work on the skin. However, what I'd like to do... thinking about lightening them up with this contrast color, Apothecary White. It's supposed to go under white, but it should work as a fairly good undercoat. But I'm going to try it to see how it goes. Yeah. I found a couple of cool little tricks, and I have the face cam set to follow my face so that I don't necessarily go off screen as much. I mean, I will briefly, but ooh, does this do what I think? Oh, actually, it's not an undercoat. That's good to know. So this, I was wondering, that is essentially like a wash. So that's going to go on later. Let's find a good gray. Should he be light? How light should he be? Should I do a cold gray? Vallejo cold gray? La, 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 la. So we're going to try this. We're going to see what it looks like. My paint palette is full of other colors right now, just from Tuesday. I'm trying to salvage Vax. Alright, I'm going to grab them, flatten out just a little bit, and just go for it. Just want to be smooth, and I'm not worried about hitting anything that would be above his skin layer. The reason why I want to be nice and smooth is because you might be able to start seeing it, but there are lines. Oh yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to using this as my main palette. The wet palette is a permanent thing. It's one of those things I wish I had known about ages ago. It's like once you start using a wet palette, you're never going to go back to a regular palette. Yeah, dry brushing you have to get a lot of the paint off anyway. But still, the wet palette still works. You just don't pull it directly from the wet palette. A lot of the times on this old palette, the paint would get to a point where I could kind of spread it around on the tip of my brush, like this, and it would dry out, and then it would come up just enough that I could essentially dry brush directly on from the palette. So you can still do it, you just don't do it directly from the palette. Hopefully you guys will be able to see from the proper angle. You know what I want to get next? What I really want to get next? I might put it on like my birthday wish list. I want to get myself an airbrush kit, because I was doing a little bit of research, and that stuff, like, there's a couple of cool ways to not dry brush, but essentially prep a lot of minis. And hopefully, if I can kind of get the word out there, I'll be able to use painting miniatures as an actual supplemental income and then actual income. But to do that, I'm going to want to make sure that like some of these stages are quicker. And if I can base coat a bunch of things, and I was watching some of the techniques, and you can do a lot with the airbrushes. And you can do a lot of cool stuff. Like I was watching one guy and he was painting a bunch of yellow Chaos Warriors on horseback and Chaos Warriors on foot from Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar, whatever they're calling it currently. And like what he was doing was super cool because he was hitting it with pink underneath, because apparently pink works amazingly well as an undercoat for bright yellows. So he worked it up from there, and then he'd airbrush kind of an orange, and then the yellow from the top angle. So the orange from the underside, like this way, and then yellow from this way. And when he blended it in, it would make a really awesome shade and shadow layer, which was really cool. And he could basically pick up a lot of his big minis. Chaos Warriors are pretty hefty. And just do them and get most of them done, and then take a minute to get in and get all the details. And it was super cool and looked like it sped up the process quite a bit. All right, that works well. I'm going to do a little bit more just to make sure the paint is smooth and the color is correct. Paint is smooth. It's definitely one thing I'm not going to complain about when it comes to the Vallejo paints. The Vallejo paints go on very, very smooth, which is nice. Am I staying in camera? Am I staying in focus? It looks like it. Hopefully the light's not too bright and it's not making a crazy shine. Yeah, there's an airbrush specific set of paints, absolutely, by Vallejo, and I don't know. There's just a bunch of stuff I'd love to do with it. It's like I don't necessarily want to play Warhammer anymore, or again, because I haven't played in a really long time, but I wouldn't mind doing it for things like batch painting War Machine figures, which I wouldn't mind getting back into. Like, to be honest, I actually really enjoyed War Machine. But just kind of stopped having time to play it. But my daughter's getting old enough and getting smart enough to handle things like Kingsburg and Lords of Waterdeep and Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. So, you know. Oh, that's a relief, Neff. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I want to get to. Yeah, looks good. Okay, that's going to be a skin tone. Or at least the base for the skin tone. How do we think we should do the gloves? Should the boots be brown? Should like the pants and the boots be brown? Just like various animal leathers? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to show up pretty easily. I should be able to run in, because this one, you see it in that reflection on the light? Right here, he's just got... This model has the details etched into it. So the paint grooves and stuff and the marks on his shoulder are all there. The outline of it is there. So You can do pretty cool stuff with it, and I will definitely be making those. What do you think? Blue? Should I do them in blue or should I do them in like yellow? Yellow might stand out really well and might look super cool. I think I kind of like that idea. All right. What color? Scorch brown for the leather, maybe? If nothing else, I can have it be his undercoat. Does he? Okay, so in game, in the live stream, what color are Grog's pants? I don't even think about it half the time. Yeah, you think yellow for the markings? I think the markings will look awesome in yellow. I think we're going to start the pants in brown. I gotta say goodnight to my daughter. Good night. She was watching. She's going to bed. Her and Mom. Need a little bit more of the dark brown. We'll work up from the... Oh. What is this color? What is this color? It's called smoky ink. Is it actually ink? It doesn't have this. It doesn't have a different color cap. So I'm confused. I gotta check. Is it ink or is it just the name of the color? Ooh, I think that's ink. Noted. And what kind of ink is it? What kind of inky? Huh. Okay. Noted for later. Dark stone in the painting guide. Oh. Thanks, Warlock. All right. Oh, yeah. So maybe I should do something different for his pants. What do you think, guys? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Taking suggestions. Almost look like blue jeans in the sample photos. Did I whack my camera? Yeah, I did a little bit, didn't I? Oh, I think the brown will be okay. So let's go with the brown, and we'll bring it up to a lighter color brown. That's all right. I like the feedback, Al. Thank you. I just noticed it over there. Follower pop-up is fun. The auto pan for the camera means that a little bit better coverage there. Main cam was a little bit bigger than it was previously. Yeah, the borders can come and go. I want to fill in some more space around the edges, but we'll figure it out. So let's go with, I'm going to start with this as the base. So I'm going to go back into the charred brown. Ooh, I got to skip this song. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, that's better. Oh. I gotta figure out a way so that I can play music and it isn't recorded. So I need to do some sort of audio mixer that puts in music after the recording portion. That sounds tricky. And I'm bound to get into a lot of trouble doing that. Not like legal trouble, just messing my own stream up for no good reason. Yeah, because I can't. If you guys don't hear my music and you see my head bobbing around, like, you're going to think I'm a weirdo. Like, what's he doing? Does he have a nervous tick? You don't want me singing it. Although that'd be funny. We could play Name That Tune, me trying to sing it. I've actually got the camera right in front of me. My arms are going around the camera and I'm looking over the camera. So I gotta be careful because it's like, here's my giant paintbrush. I'd love some pizza. No problem being late. It's okay. I got kind of a new setup. I made some adjustments. Did a little bit of a different camera angle, which I think I'm going to stick with so long as I can get around. As long as it doesn't get in the way. I think depending on the size of the Mini, it might cause problems. But we'll see. I ended up spending a good chunk of the afternoon trying to figure out the software. Right now I'm just getting in here and base coating the pants and the skin. We're going to switch it up, and instead of the blue-gray color on the pants, we're going to use brown into a light tan. We'll work around that. It's a big belt. Going to get the edges of that and make sure that the paint is smooth, especially around the stitches and the little holes. Get the back of the belt. I'll get in there. That's a second belt. Looks like he's got a weapon belt and a pouch. We gotta get the straps, the leather straps for his harness. Ooh, too much. A little bit less on the brush, please. I don't want it to get saturated into the cracks. Let's get up here towards his shoulder. Some big old studs and some crazy skull detail. Da, 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 da. Coming around. Yeah, maybe the chat window in the video is a bit redundant. It might help when there's if there's more people, but it also kind of gives you an idea about when it streams past for me. And you'll know how long it's been since I missed it going by. Whoops. So just as a heads up, I do this on Tuesday now as well. Same time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And if I'm not finished with a mini on Thursday, I will finish it on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we finished up the polar bear version of Trinket. Did the base on that and sort of recovered the paint job on Vax to the point where I was satisfied with it. Realized that he was just riddled with casting lines and mold lines, which is why I was losing so much detail. And now that I've adjusted where my cameras are, you guys should start being able to see things like that. Like you should see the bits on his shoulder here now. And you'll be able to see some of the real close-up stuff, which should be pretty cool. It's got some big metal plates on the back of those guys. Probably some metal banding as well, but we're going to go a base coat on them in brown and use that to work up. Because he's got gloves on, full gauntlets, full hand coverage, so I'm just going to do the whole thing. Yeah, I think it's looking good. The detail's coming through. I'm happy with it. I got it focused in the correct spot. And it's just a matter of working around the camera. But I think I'll get used to it because it's not really in the way. Yeah. Getting all this way. He should start going pretty quick once I get this layer done. Just get it on smooth. Keep your brush fairly clean. And you shouldn't have any problems. I still want to try and figure out, like the next big step for me is figuring out either how to afford a new desk so that I can have one where I can stand up, or if I should think about lifting this one somehow. Hydraulic systems might be more expensive than a new desk. All right. what? Let me hit his beard. We're going to do a little bit of brown because he is not going to have a black beard. He is going to have... I mean, if I do yellow for the cool Goliath markings, I should probably make it like red. I think that would look awesome. And again, we're just getting the undercoat in. I don't want to go up over his cheeks too much. He's got a bit of a stash going on. Yeah. 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 That looks nice. Good start. I keep dropping them on the table. If I use the handle, I feel like it's way out of line. All right. Should I do the boots? Boots. I mean, brown to brown. What if I did his boots? What if I just kept them a little darker? Let's go with a darker one. See how much of a difference this is from the base coat. It's somber gray. I don't think it's super... It's kind of light, but that'll work because I can always darken it up with some good shade. Just going to throw some shade on them. The detail on this one is way better than on the Vax. Whereas Vax was a bit of a miscast, I think. Grog, much more solid. The boots are pretty realistic looking. A lot of times on miniatures, the ankles are real tight to the model on the boot. But if anybody in real life has put on boots, like tall ones and stuff like that, you know they do this. They bunch a little bit. But it looks great. I think this detail is awesome. Make it under here. It's a good thing I remembered to turn the microphone off on this webcam. I think I bumped into it with the handle of the brush like 6 or 7 times. Eight. La la la. So the real question I have now, for those folks that have been coming about past couple of months when I started, is, do you have your own mini to work on? A la old Bob Ross. Or is that too much to ask at this point? No responses yet on that question. I'm going to guess that nobody's painting their own figure at the moment. It's fine. It's not for everybody. I find it relaxing. And as with most everything, it takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. I think this is an actual... He's the one who carried the bag of holding. Yeah, and it's actually strapped to his belt. He's got little hooks on it. And an extra, like a short messenger bag style loop that just goes up and over. That's cool. Can I get all the way in here? 9. Just counting how many times I hit the camera. What are you painting, Port? Tell me what yours is, I'll show you what mine is. I got one on commission, working on it right now. Well, working on this right now. One of my commissions. Is it Age of Sigmar or is it... Ooh. Very nice. I've got him working on. He's coming along. I'm very pleased with the eye on the shoulder. He's also got one down here on his belt. One of the first people I ever played Warhammer with played Skaven. Yeah, he is. He's a monstrosity. I'm thinking Space Wolf. Just because. We'll get down to that toward the end of the mini. All right. Skin tone. Let's work up a little bit. Yeah. That was a fun game. That was a fun game. Oh, you know what I need to do? Before I go anywhere else, where's my superfine? My itty bitty brush. This guy. I need... Is this still good? Nope, that looks like it finally dried up. I'm going to dip inside with a gory red. I'm going to get into his mouth before I go anywhere else. I'm just going to get a tiny little bit on the brush. Say ah. Gotta leave that bottom lip gray. I'm going to go over here and cover this side of his beard back up. This? Yeah, my little... I guess it does kind of look like one on the... Well, that says something about that ink. It'd be kind of cool to use. Gotta figure out where to use it. Alright, skin tone. Where am I going? I think I'm just going to go with the dark tone. Because I want it to be a little darker. I don't want to be super bright. I'd like him to be... his skin to be like gray. I don't feel like the quick shade is going to do what I want. I'm going to water this dark tone down a lot. I think. See what I can do with it. I'm also going to put it across his boots. If I do this right, this will be essentially his skin done. Except for the tattoos. Magic ink. Magic ink. It really is super cheaty. Tonight on Chromomancer Painting, how to cheat. Doesn't it? Doesn't that look awesome? Doesn't it look awesome? I just bumped the camera again. I feel like that did exactly what I wanted it to do on the skin. That's what I should do. Okay, the leather needs a lighter color for that to really work. So let's move it up one notch. We're gonna go with Beastly Brown. Gonna lighten it up just a tad. My intention on the pants is to hit the upraised areas with this as a kind of a contrast highlight. I'm going to leave the dark shadowy parts. So we'll bring the pants up. I'm going to do my best not to really not to bump the skin and stuff until it's all dry. Am I still on camera? Yeah. I'm going to leave, I don't want it to be super smooth by the edge because I want it to be kind of textured. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of imply folds, little creases and stuff. Not necessarily right there because that's like a monstrous thigh muscle. Just going to go down like this. Just going to pull it towards my hand. I'm still on camera. Yay! All right. Be careful over here. Gonna get this little triangle. We're gonna get this line that comes up. And this bit that goes kind of under. $11. $12. The bumps are getting lighter, but they're still there. There we go. Get back over it, grab that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure that's smooth and with a very, very light second coat as I come back to it. There's a little crease right here that we're going to leave. I'm going to leave this little crease under his knee. And he's got one right here. But I don't want to make it super sharp. Like some of the bristle marks there, like just the kind of like, not brush strokes, but the tip, the shape of the bristles. I'm going to let them stay. The hammer in his belt is a dwarven thrower, if I recall correctly. And the reason why he can use it is because of the belt of dwarven kind. I believe. You may have to double check me on that. Because for some reason I can't remember if that's a house rule or a legit rule. Like, if you're not a dwarf but you have a belt of dwarven kind, you can whip a dwarven thrower around like you were a dwarf. Somebody cross check me. Rules check. Yay! That's what I was thinking. I'm just not entirely 100% sure myself on that call. Mostly because I think the last time... You know, I might not have come into that particular combination. I think I've either been playing a dwarf when one of those has come up, or the dwarven thrower has come up so rarely that I don't have that particular experience to call upon. Now look at that. That looks lovely. That looks lovely. It's going to get inside here. What I'm going to do is, as the paint starts to like wear off the brush a little bit, I'm going to go towards the inside so that it fades to the darker color underneath this leg, because I want that shadow. 12 and 13, or am I on 14? Where am I? Camera bumps. I just nudged it twice. See what I mean? I feel like it's just a house rule people have taken for granted. Like, they've been like, you act like a dwarf, you talk like a dwarf, you have a beard like a dwarf, sure, you can use the hammer. He also had this other item. It was a homebrew item that he could like hook on to the back of a weapon called the Chain of Returning, and it was basically just like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. he could just whip the weapon out to a range of like 20 or 30 feet or something. Gave it a ranged thrown modifier on pretty much anything. So maybe it's not a dwarven throwing hammer, and it was just like a hammer of giant slaying or something. Yeah, we're getting there. I feel like his mouth is too red. So whenever you get something that's too bright a color, hit it with a darken gouache. Ain't bad. See? It's just a homebrew rule. I think even DMs want to use the item. Like if it rolls up on a random table and they're like, this item is too cool to not use. If there's a dwarven belt around, then maybe that tricks it. Alright. I would like to do a dark tone shade along the pants, and then I'll get back up to some of the other bits. Oh, sorry. This one. Army Painter Quick Shade. Their shades are real good. Like their quick shade and their dark tone and all that other stuff. They're super useful. So I'd like these pants to be just a little bit darker. Get away from the lamp. There we go. Really liking the way that's starting to feel. Yes. Yes. Excellent. I threw him on the... Oh, I'm just kidding. He's okay. Yeah, exactly. That's mostly what people do with it. It's like, yeah, it's close enough. Okay. Let's have some fun, shall we? I'm gonna use this Apothecary White contrast. La 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 la. La 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 la. Okay. See what I can do with Arctic White. I'm going to go through and do all the fur trim in Arctic White, and then I'm going to use this. So we're doing base of Arctic, Apothecary White contrast as kind of a blend. And let's see where it goes, shall we? Make sure my brush is clean of the last color as much as possible. And sometimes I actually want to change the water if I've used a lot of darker colors, or even like reds, so that it doesn't hit. Okay, take a deep breath, relax a touch, bump the camera for the 15th time. Now I'm going to be careful because I don't want to bump onto the skin, because I feel like the skin is in a great spot right now. La la la. It's nice when 16. It's nice when the white goes on well, because boy, is it frustrating to have to hit things multiple times just to bring it up to actual white. So hats off to Vallejo paint. Seems to be going pretty well now that I've started using some of their white. Turn the model upside down. Just be careful in between these colors. Okay, we're doing well there. I don't have to be as careful because this is also white up under here. Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right. I don't know if you can see this because his axe might actually be in the way, but I'm trying to get under here. La la la. Okay. Let's get the edges of belt. coming through. I like it. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. I'm going to need to put some more white on in just a second. Starting to get a little light, a little washery, a little watery around the edges. How's everybody? Everything still coming through loud and clear? Doing my best to make sure he stays inside camera range. I think it's working out pretty well so far. Awesome. Noah, are you in chat? Because you were one of the ones that wanted Grog. I apologize if I start singing. A little bit of 12-foot Ninja just came on. Do. You know, PJ, it may actually be something he is yet to say. I might use the line in the future, depending on what situation we're in. What am I on? 17? I bumped the camera again. It's gonna make me sad. I mean, I'll be happy that we finished the campaign as far as accomplishment-wise, but I really enjoy the character and the stuff that we get up to. Can't really reach under there, so I think that's it for that. Let's get his boots. Hey! How's it going, monkey? Well, I mean, there's only, I want to say, 3 sessions left? 4? On the monthly game? Depending on how things go. Yeah, I get it. I was painting the other day and I just kind of like kept going, and I think I was up until like midnight, 1 o'clock, and a couple of times I was in there and I was just like, my eyes were so tired I could feel them twitch every once in a while. I was like, hey, it's time to take a break. That's another thing. Like, I recommend if you're in there for 2 hours, kind of cruising along, try and get up and walk around or take a break at the end of that 2 hours, if at all possible. If you're going to keep going, you need to walk away from it for a minute. All right. I get this down. 19? Have I hit 20 yet? Just bumped it again. I'll get it though. Yeah, there we go. All right. Who is with us tonight? How are we doing? Speaking of, I'm going to sit up for a second and stretch. Who we have in here? Chris Sock, how's it going? Aliaster, you've been in. Delirium's been in. PBJ's been in. Joe Bob. Lat, who's my dad. Monkey Clops just show up. Mr. Port, you guys are all here. How's it going? We had a couple others in there this evening. Commander Root, who shows up a lot, and I'm not sure if it's an actual person or if it's somebody who, or if it's like an auto thing that comes in there for Twitch chat. But hello to everyone. All right. Oops. La, la, la. Okay. I guess some markings on his head too. I feel like. Start getting to those in a second. All right, time for this contrast paint and see how it does. Let's see. Super, super watery, so I might go straight out of the pot. Let's just see what we get. All right. That's interesting. It's essentially, it's not a shader, but it does seem to work its way down into some of the nooks and crannies. If I work it around, that's cool. Fun stuff. So if I brush it down past the top so that it gets into the cracks, it doesn't run in like the quick shades do, but it provides a bit of a contrast for the bright color. That's cool. La la la. Hey Monkey, do any of the other guys have Twitch accounts? Watch Critical Role and or other things? Fishing for followers is what I'm doing. I'm not too proud to admit it. Right tools for the job. Speeds a lot of this process up. That looks good. I like it. Hopefully the stream is going well and there's not like weird dead spots or lag. I'm going to pick up some of this in the cracks here. I don't want that to be white. There we go. Just rinse the brush off and then come back with no paint on it. Like if you have too much paint, it gets messy. And you can get in there with the tip of the brush and sort of push it back out. Yeah, seems to be what it's doing. I've never really used them. I saw it on the shelf when I was looking for some other inks and some other base paints, and it seems to do it. Seems to do as it's advertised on the tin. Citadel's doing a whole bunch of weird new paints. I mean, there's so many paints on the Citadel shelf at this point. I looked at it and was like, oh my god, there's no way I can get all of those. I used to have mega paint sets, which were the entire Citadel paint line, and like that probably costs $500 now. Those things are expensive. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Okay, he's coming along. He's coming along. I'm going to take a little bit of this white, though, because I see some spots that I would like to hit. I'm just going to do this right along the edges here. Sort of give some extreme highlights in a couple of places. $21 or something. Get him down lower. Yeah. Yeah. Coming along. Where was I? Can I take some of that? No. That's not the color I want. I want this. I want to go back to his skin tone now that the ink is all dry. And I'm going to do stuff like this. Kind of outline his scars a little bit. Bring the biceps up some. I'm working on highlighting Grog's skin. Now that the ink is all dry, I want to hit a lot of the upraised sections. And I'm going to get sort of in between where those tattoo lines are going to be. Interesting. Is it just the voice? Is it just audio or? Oh, okay. I'm just kind of like tickling it to get sort of some definition back here. He's got a lot of... He's a beefy boy. But that's okay. So we can work with that. There we go. You're just looking to be gentle with the brush. I was talking about this on Tuesday. You don't want to push down too hard. Like, the bristles themselves are carrying all the paint you need. You just gotta let them work. It's kind of like when you were little and working with markers or crayons. If you push it too hard, it's going to ruin it because it's going to mash it all down right away. So there's a lot of paint in there. You just got to find it. Up the back of his head. A little bit on his neck. He's got a big old torque, which is cool. Where are the tattoos on his head? gently just kind of lighten up the spots on the very top of his head that I feel like are gonna be skin tone and not tattoo. Real gentle. Just kind of letting the bristles dance on the ridges. There we go. There we go. A little bit of highlight. Kind of poke the bristles under and inside the mouth. Yeah. That looks nice. Where is that optimal focal range? You can kind of see it. All right. Oh, I got a little bit more to do over here. There we go. This bump, this bit, that bit, this bit up top, right there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there's this stripe that comes all the way around. That'll do. That looks good. Oh, it's already 10 of 10. So we've done a couple layers on the skin and the pants. The boots look good. The white looks good. I think on Tuesday what I'm going to start is picking out metallic detail. So shoulder pads, get the axe done, take a closer look at the boots and the gauntlets and the belts. So we're working our way out. Skin's done, pants done, face done, and then on Tuesday night I'll get into here, and we'll have some fun with the colors. I'm going to do nice sunburst yellow on the shoulder. I think it'll stand out well, and it'll match the bronze gold I'm going to do for the dwarf face and for the filigree on the axe. This I will probably make almost actual skull, but I'll do some more gold filigree around the edges. So that'll be fun. But I feel like he looks real good right now. Real tasty. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. I like it. All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by tonight. And as I said, we'll finish him up on Tuesday. And I think so far, out of the 4 that I'll have done, he is probably the best looking so far. I like him. I like him quite a bit. Naffy, if you do that D&D thing one shot, I may have to make a Goliath Barbarian just to do this, because I like this mini. So, yeah. We'll see you all on Tuesday, hopefully. Same time, 8 o'clock. Run 8 to 10. And, yeah, we'll get Grog done. Grog will be finished up. You guys have, thanks for sticking around in my new kind of layout. It's a little weird. But, hey, you're welcome, Port. Love to have you by. Ask good questions. So, if anybody else has any more questions, let me know. And I'll most likely post this up tomorrow morning in case those people who showed up late wanted to catch the first part of it. But again, we'll do details, axes, belts, things like that on Tuesday. Flock the base and finish them up. Otherwise, have a fantastic night. Stay safe. See you later.